Johann Wadephul, welcome to 7:30.
Good evening.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says the world order is not strained, it has ruptured. He urged middle powers to form alliances. Do you agree with him? And is Germany seeking stronger alliances with middle powers like Australia?
Germany understands itself as being part of the European Union, and the European Union, of course, should play a role in this world order. We are faced with big powers who are challenging this rules-based order, but Germany, as most of the European countries, is defending this very system, and we are very happy that we are aligned with a lot of global partners. Australia is one of the important ones belonging to this group.
Did you ever consider a US invasion of Greenland a real possibility?
No, in the end of the day, not. But it was new for us that this was outspoken in the United States. And of course, this was a moment when we had to be reconnected to the United States. I was in Washington then, spoke to Marco Rubio, met a lot of senators and members of the House as well. And we came back to what is really important for the security in Europe, that we are NATO allies and that we are sticking and standing together, Denmark, Greenland, Germany and the United States and other countries as well, and that the real threat to our freedom and to our security is not Greenland, but Russia and in a sense also China.
Well, then let me ask you, what lessons do you draw from Donald Trump in the way that he has diminished support for Ukraine and taken Russia's side on its territorial claims, particularly in the Donbass?
I wouldn't completely agree that he has taken completely the Russian side. He tries to be a mediator. He is an initiator for peace talks, which is good. But we as Europeans define ourselves to be standing with Ukraine, because Ukraine is not only defending its own territory and its own security, but also our security in Europe and defending the rules-based order. We cannot allow Russia to be successful. And my understanding is that the huge majority in the United States are with us. They do understand what is at stake, and that we, as Western allies, have to be united in order to defend Ukraine and the rules-based order.
You say that Donald Trump offers himself as a mediator, but we hear the things that he says about Putin, about Russia. Why do you think he is sympathetic to the claims of a dictator?
No, my impression, I learned in the last year that we had a very successful summit of our most important alliance, which is the NATO. And this happened in The Hague last year, where we as European countries committed clearly to the 5% goal, and on the other hand, the United States, that they would defend Europe if attacked. So this was a very important moment for Europe. NATO is bigger than it was before. Finland and Sweden joined our club. So we are in a better position than before. But on the other hand, there was a necessity to bring Russia to the negotiation table, which wasn't successful until now. But we welcome, in principle, that Donald Trump and the US administration tries to bring Russia to reasonable talks about the security future of Europe. Of course, we expect that the United States, as our close ally, will in the end of the day be our partner, our friend, and also support Ukraine in its fight for freedom.
Is it simply impossible for a German foreign minister to bluntly question the the US's commitment to NATO?
No, it's not impossible, but it's not the reality which I do see. You have to realize, and I have to realize, and that is the sober analysis, that we are closely working together in the NATO framework in all political levels, in all military levels, that we are jointly and combined working together with all NATO partners, and that we see a full-fledged commitment of the United States of America to defend Europe, also including the nuclear weapons they do have in order to really contain Russia. And that is needed, and that is still the case. Are we irritated about wordings, about some of the sentences of the new US defense strategy? Yes. Does it, in principle, put in doubt the US commitment to NATO and to Europe? No. And that's where we are. And as allies, we have to talk to each other. We have to find a common ground, and that is where Germany is working for.
And you believe that if, for example, Russia made a move on the Baltic states, that the US would honour the NATO treaty?
Yes.
Let me put that question in a different way to you. Donald Trump is the world leader at the moment who is disrupting geopolitics and trade. Is China the more reliable partner of the two?
Of course not. China is of course, for Germany and for Europe, a partner. It is a competitor, but it is also a systemic rival who puts in question the international rules-based order. You can only ask some of the neighbors from China in the South China Sea. So they are very clear who is the real challenge for them. And America and the United States, they are still a democracy. They still have three branches. The rule of law is important there, and that makes a very big difference to China. So we are not in equidistance to the United States and China. We are still in the camp of the United States.
Now, just to come back to Australia, I asked you at the beginning about the potential for stronger alliances amongst middle powers. Obviously, Australia is one of those. What is it that Germany wants from Australia?
I think we both have to invest more into our bilateral relation. There's so much potential. Since we are geographically far away from each other, we have common interest, we have common values, and we should use them more than in the past. And this is the reason that I'm here, and I was also in Tonga to show that we are also interested in what is happening in the Pacific Islands, which is the neighborhood of Australia. And on the other hand, we very much value that Australia is so engaged on the side of Ukraine. But let's look into the future. What is possible? We really have to do more. And I would say, if you really soberly analyze who are your true friends, Australia and Germany would come to both to the result that we need each other and that we can do a lot of things together.
Just a final question. You grew up in the long, long shadow of the Second World War. As Foreign Minister, does that still influence your thinking?
Yes, of course. I grew up in a Germany which was divided, and I joined the army in 1982, when there was, of course, the risks that I would have to use my gun against my cousins living in the eastern part of Germany. And I will never forget that very situation. So what do I learn from this? First, it was the United States, together, of course, with European partners, but the most important element was the support from the United States, which brought us reunification. Secondly, freedom is important, but we have to be able to fight for it. We have to be able to defend it. And for that very reason, we as Europeans and also Germany have to learn to use power, also military power, in order to effectively defend our world. And thirdly, there's always the possibility for a positive development. When I grew up, I never thought that there would be a peaceful reunification of Germany, but it happened. So looking to all the conflicts we are faced with, I still believe that there are possibilities and opportunities to solve all these conflicts in a peaceful manner, and I'm working for that.
Johann Wadephul, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.